Do it.
Me and Logan kind of want to be surprised about the view counts, like maybe 50 to 1,000.
Hey, Luke.
We
By the
don't
way,
know.
you're
But,
talking.
like,
I'm
we're
already
looking at it.
streaming, Luke. I thought our plan was to be silent right now. All right, yo, what's going on? This is the Free Speech Bus podcast. I'm your host, Logan Joseph Ramsey. Follow me on Twitter at FPLoger64. My co-host is Luke. I don't know what his Twitter ad is. It's like 0898.
At Luke0989898.
All right, and the podcast has an official Twitter now at Free Speech Bus, not Bust. Twitter will not let us make it that long. And we have a fucking guest, Education4Liberals. How's it going?
A very special guest tonight.
Are you that special?
What's up, guys?
How special do you think you are?
I don't think I'm that special. Just a regular dude.
All right.
Regular dude.
I think most people who are dudes are regular dudes. All right, I just sent you a link to the YouTube stream if you want to fucking put that shit on your Twitter.
Yeah, dude. I'll check it out.
All right, cool. Then I think what's gonna happen is Luke or I will say something. What shit? One of the Luke, ask one of your questions. I forget what mine were.
Okay, so Mr. Education for Liberals, what exactly made you decide to make the Twitter account?
Well, shit, man. I made it. Basically, when Trump decided that he was going to run for his election, his campaign, from like day one, saw the guy in policies. He wanted to build the wall, wanted to stop illegal immigration. Everything that guy started talking about was like, holy crap, like I can jump on board with that. And I started talking, to my friends, and almost 90% of them, were like, no, hell no, and that's terrible. He's racist. They jump on the media saying, the parroting talking points of he's racist, xenophobic, and all that bullshit. But basically, I needed somewhere to place my thoughts because it wasn't working on Facebook. All that was doing was getting me into big time arguments. People who I thought were my friends, which later on I ended up
sooner or later.
Yeah, I cut my friends list down from like 850 to like 250 during that, actually, because I was like, these are a bunch of fake people who are just looking to get in petty arguments with me that really don't know what they're talking about.
We know all too well about that shit.
Yeah, so I decided to jump on Twitter. I'm like, these are where I'm going to take my thoughts because I know there's other people out there that are thinking like I do, just I don't know a lot of them personally. So basically that led to that, and I've been on that since January.
It's funny you say you moved to Twitter to find like a like a better place.
People.
When it's I just think it's so annoying whenever you see someone like Baked Alaska or Roger Stone, some guy like that gets fucking their Twitter suspended,
booted. Yeah.
It's.
I'm worried they're gonna do that. And I'm worried about that.
Yeah.
What? Because my growth in the last 2 months has been phenomenal, and I just got my first Twitter jail stint this last Monday. Hours, because apparently can't make jokes about transgenders.
Trust me,
I love. That's one of my favorite topics to joke about.
Me, all right,
like
transgenders.
Too many. Logan, there's like a lot of. There's too many at our school, especially. Like I can.
Well, here's the thing. Me and a couple buddies actually run a meme page for our school, like at our school and everything, and we.
It got taken down. The first one.
Yeah,
got
we've gotten
down.
Called down to the office before, for some of our shit. What do you think about something like Gab? Are you from like that social media?
I'm not familiar with that, but a lot of people keep telling me about that. They're like, this is a social media site.
Yeah, I made an account on it. It's the thing. Apparently, they made like an app for it, but it got taken off the Google Play Store. It's not the problem with it is it's not as easy to use and shit like as Twitter is. like a lot of big like political guys like Steven Crowder, Paul Joseph Watson, they all made accounts on it. But if you go to their accounts now, like they're inactive. Everyone's still on Twitter. But I think it is a good thing to be an opposing point of view on Twitter. Being a conservative on Twitter, which is a very liberal site, I think it's nice because if it weren't for people like you or me or any conservative on Twitter, these guys would not ever have their opinions challenged. So I think it's, you know,
they'd be stuck in their little own echo chamber.
Well, that's a big problem with something like Facebook too. Is like if you like a right-wing page on Facebook, it'll recommend you right-wing pages also to follow. Same thing if you follow a left-wing page. It like it'll say you may also like, not you may also need to hear. That's social media is great if you're willing to do the work to hear another point of view and learn the facts. But if you're someone who's just willing to have an echo chamber and only hear opinions you agree with, then it's super easy to do that on social media too. So, it's those two things can definitely happen.
Man. You know what I love doing? I love watching those anti-Trump protests, and I don't know if you know who Fleckas is. He does interviews with them. He'll go to the anti-Trump protests, and he'll go around and he'll ask them, like, so what exactly are you guys protesting? And about 90% of them won't even have a conversation.
Exactly.
Like, oh, we want Trump impeached. And he'll be like, for what? And they'll be like, well, he's a racist, or I'm against all of his policies. And we'll be like, okay, so name a few. And they'll be like, well, I can't really think of one off the top of my head, but they get stonewalled. And all they're doing is, like Luke said, they're just basically echo chambers. They're screaming at the sky and looking like lunatics.
My favorite thing is when Trump got announced as president, there's just that meme of that one dude just getting on his knees and screaming his head off.
Oh, I know, dude. That was pretty staged, too. Like, I watched that. You can see she looks out of the corner of her eye, looks at the camera, and goes, okay, this is my time.
You think that was staged?
I think it was, yeah.
Have you seen any of those scream at the sky protests?
I have, yeah. It's
ridiculous. Not Gay Jared from Louder with Crowder went to one. There was like 7 people there. It was pretty embarrassing. So back to the.
Oh yeah, they also.
Back to the thing about being an opposing point of view on Twitter, or something like that. Is your shit on Twitter more for like entertainment, or do you actually want to change the way people think and do good, or are you just?
I think more entertainment / knowledge for conservatives. I know that a lot of liberals aren't looking at my page to actually be like educated.
Yeah.
It's more like just getting. It's more just for the conservative fan.
Well, your profile picture used to be of Donald Trump, so I think to your average bisexual, blue-haired, feminist, Black Lives Matter supporter, they're gonna look at that and be turned off, pretty soon.
Immediately, they're not even gonna look at my tweets if they see Trump as my profile pic.
Are you?
And they just see a regular dude, and it's like they'll scream at their phone. Yeah.
That's on their face as well.
Bash capitalism, sent from an iPhone.
Yeah, exactly. Or their laptop.
Oh my god.
It's ridiculous.
Or anything, pretty much.
I met this one chick. So my family took a cruise earlier this year, and I met this one chick who was pretty hot. She's from California. We had each other on Snapchat. She tweeted this thing of her, or not tweeted, but she put on Snapchat a thing of her and a bunch of her peers with like a USSR flag, this communism shit. I'm like, oh my god, if you fucking people knew what you were supporting.
That's the thing. They're so like empty-minded, dude. They don't even know.
I honestly think you supporting communism. If you support all the communist nations that have been, that's worse than Nazis, because. If just compare the death toll, really. You
can't even compare the two. It's hundreds of millions.
Fucking Mao killed like 65 million people. Hitler killed like 11 million.
That's still a lot, but then you look at Mao and like, touched you when
some of the liberals be like, well, we haven't tried true communism yet. Be like, so let's sacrifice another 100 million lives so we can finally get that shitty system to work. Yeah.
Well, true communism, true Marxism, true socialism just hasn't been tried yet. It hasn't been. When is it going to try? You think Bernie Sanders is the solution? Oh, I saw this dumbest thing. It was the Democratic Socialism's website. It literally I read it and it said democratic socialism is like socialism but without a big government. And I'm just thinking to myself, how does that even work? How are you gonna redistribute the wealth without forcing people to give the wealth? You know what happens if you disobey the law or you don't pay your taxes or whatever? People with guns go to your house and they make you do it. That's what would happen under socialism. I don't think they talk about fascism all the time when these are the people that support. Oh my fucking god, my dogs are barking. Luke, can you handle this shit while I go yell at them? Thank you.
I can handle it. Okay.
Hey, so can I ask a question?
Yeah, but it's gonna be just me for a while.
That's fine. Where do you guys go to school?
Oh, there is a funny story behind that. We go to school in Northeast Ohio.
Okay.
Logan, one time, he said our school's name on the podcast, which is Firelands High School. Like, Logan, or you think that's a good idea? He just goes, oh, I don't care. They can call in a bomb threat for all I care.
You mentioned the B word, huh?
Oh, yeah.
The B word. Luke, you are not allowed to swear on this show.
Yourself.
I have a sailor's mouth. I apologize. So I have no idea what any of you guys were talking about while I was gone. So
we were talking about the one time you mentioned our school's name, and I was like, Logan, that's not a good idea. You just said, I don't care. Bomb threat for all I care.
That was funny.
That was funny. We all died laughing when you did that.
All right, one thing I wanted to ask you, and I think this is going to be a really interesting question for all of us to answer, because I think it really speaks to the current political state and young people nowadays. Is like, what got you into conservatism? Like, what made you have the ideology and politics that you do?
Well, I come from, I guess, kind of a conservative family, but I went to a liberal arts college about 5 years ago, and I kind of had my questions about it. I wasn't really into politics or anything like that. Around about 2012, I got wind of Alex Jones.
Ooh.
I heard about him, and I watched one of his videos. Like, wow, this guy's interesting. Like, this is a bunch of shit that doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, this guy's a conspiracy theorist and blah blah blah. Then I started doing my own research, and I looked into some of the things he was talking about. And it was true, and like it was like going down the rabbit hole, man. And things that like I'd been programmed to believe my whole life, all of a sudden, like just had me questioning everything. So I got into Alex Jones, got onto the Ron Paul bandwagon, voted for him in 2012. But yeah, that's when I just started doing my own research. I didn't listen to like anything anybody else would tell me, like family, friends, and basically I owe it to InfoWars, to be honest. InfoWars really red-pilled me.
The thing that you're the first person to willingly admit that Alex Jones got you into politics.
Turn the freaking frogs gay. I know. He's really like honestly he's right about a lot of.
He is.
Sometimes he'll get on those tyrants where it's like wow, dude, like this guy's crazy, and I can see where people are coming from, but for me, he's highly informational and he entertains.
Yeah, I was saying the exact same thing to Luke before we started doing the podcast. I asked him if he had ever watched Alex Jones. He's like, no. I was like, dude, you gotta, once you get past the ripping the shirt off and the memes and the screaming at the top of your lungs, you're gonna find like some shit like you've never heard before.
Let me catch up with Crowder and Phil Robertson's In the Woods before I go to Alex Jones. Then I will start watching.
Dude, I started straight off with Alex Jones. That's like the peak. That's where I started.
Usually you watch, something a little more centered before that. Yeah. But what did the whole conservative thing for me is I didn't realize this until like maybe last year during the primaries of this most recent election, is I would overhear like older people in my family, my dad, my uncles, grandmas, whatever, talk about politics, and I would hear like both sides. I would hear the liberal side and the conservative side, but I didn't know that it was liberal conservative. I didn't know Republican or Democrat. An example is two big issues, which are pretty telltale signs of what side of the aisle you're on, is the gun issue and abortion. From a very young age, I was always pro-gun and pro-life, but I didn't know that was a Republican thing. That was just what I believed in. I was always anti-PC. When I was really young, I listened to fucking Eminem all the time. So that made me want to yell fuck at the top of my lungs.
CD I ever had.
Oh, man. And what's interesting about Luke is a member of the Libertarian Party of Ohio.
Libertarian.
Okay. Well, I mean, Alex Jones is a libertarian.
My problem with libertarians is a lot of people will say they're libertarians, but you look at their politics, they're basically just conservatives who use the label libertarian to make themselves feel special. That's been the perception I've had.
Yep.
I hate most about my party is like I'll go on Facebook and like every time I see like something being libertarian, everybody's just whining. It's only shit posting memes. Like, you know what I mean? There's like no actual solutions being offered, like maybe once a week, but everything else is just shit posting.
Is it? Yeah.
You guys follow? You guys know who the Facebook group is? Occupy Democrat?
Oh my god. My one aunt shares shit from that all the time. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! It's so. Have you seen? The
most brainwashed people on this planet will repost.
Have you seen the Facebook page Occupy Democrats Logic, where they'll take like some retarded liberal post
right?
And then they'll put like right under it like a rebuttal to it.
Dude, that is my favorite Facebook page, man. It is my favorite because they do it with every single
It's
one.
awesome.
It's not like they can't post one that has truth.
It's awesome.
And like, oh my, it's amazing, dude. I recommend that page to everybody.
Yeah, and a Twitter page I recommend is Education4Liberals. It's a very good page, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh my. Let's see. Yo.
So Logan.
Yeah.
You want to start getting
I don't know.
topics?
Didn't you have some more like a lot? You said you had like 8 fucking questions.
Yeah,
for
I have
this
like
guy.
7 questions.
Well, let's get into that. I thought we were interviewing him.
All right. Okay. How do you feel? Okay. What do you think of how the current political landscape is? Like, a lot of the lefties and some rightists don't like listen to the other person's side. Like,
Okay.
More sure, but like, what do you think of all this?
Yeah, I think it's the most polarizing thing we've ever seen in our country, man. Completely polarizing. People don't want to agree with each other, even though lots of times they'll share the same goal. Like, let's take gun control, for example. We have different ways of going about it. Conservatives will say citizens should be armed. That way, good people can take down the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Be prepared. We'll be ready for them. Liberals say no. We need to pass more gun regulation laws. So we keep the guns out of the hands. And basically, we both
just proved that wrong.
Yeah. Oh, I know they're wrong, but basically, we both agree that we want less, mass shootings.
Yeah.
We both agree on that. We just have different.
Achieve the ends.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we're just so polarized that we can't sit and have a civil debate about that and be like, okay, we're on the same team right now. It's healthy that we have different viewpoints, but let's try to understand that we share the same goals. But we look at it as no, you don't agree with me this way, you're instantly.
Well, that whole polarization reminds me of something. You guys remember that I was talking about that one chick I met on the cruise, with the commie flag. When I was talking to her, I'm very quick to. I'm not very afraid of getting on the topic of politics at all. So I forget what we were talking about. It was right after the inauguration, because I think this was in the spring or something. And she says, well, I just want Donald Trump to release his tax returns or something. And we basically were just having this discussion about, basically the results of the election or whatever. And towards the end of it, she goes, she asked me, did we just have a civil conversation about politics? And I said something to her that should probably be on like a fucking t-shirt or something. I said one of the worst things that the media will do does right now in America is claim that politics are so divisive and polarizing. I do agree that in some sects that is true, but I think for the most part, real people, real Americans, are able to have these discussions. But I think they want to claim it's divisive so that we believe it, and then we become divisive ourselves.
Yeah. Two things about the tax return. I mean, first of all, it's not required. It's not a constitutional mandate that the president has to release his taxes. It never has been. And another thing is, if there was one thing or anything wrong in those tax returns, you best believe the IRS would be all over them. It's our president of the United States. Trust me.
Like, if you can get the IRS, if you can get a rich guy, no matter what, let's face it, they're probably going to go after him.
For sure, definitely. I don't blame the guy for not wanting to release him. Whatever triggers the liberals, I guess. And Donald Trump.
If he just decided that, hey, I want to release my tax returns, I want to be transparent to the American people, I have no issues with that. The thing is about the tax returns, I don't care either way. You know what I mean?
Right? And they're like, well, he's just doing this for money and blah blah blah. Like, he's doing this and taking a presidential salary. And I saw a Forbes report that said he lost close to $100 million or something like that since he's taken office because people have boycotted his brand names, Trump Hotel and his golf courses and all that. So he's not in this for the money, believe me.
All right. So,
hasn't he been donating his salary too? Like you said, he wasn't receiving.
Well,
something,
yeah, he's putting it
like
back into the government some way or another. Like he's not pocketing the money. One thing I wanted to ask you that I think's, I don't know, fairly important to get on is, you're obviously, from the words I'm hearing you say right now, you're obviously very pro-Trump. Could you give me like a grade school rating, like A to F, on like how you feel he's doing, and then give me an area, if there is an area where you would criticize him, or is he perfect?
Well, I don't think anyone's perfect, but he's damn near, to be honest, dude. I'd give him an A just because of all the competition that he's facing, just from the Republicans in his own party, the liberals, the Democrats, the media, the globalists. Everybody is like against him except for the conservatives, the silent majority. So with what he's working with, I think he's doing a great job. And once hopefully we get these tax cuts reformed, we can move on to getting the wall built and
and his health
and healthcare. Yep, healthcare. Fulfilling some of these campaign promises. He does those three things, dude. He's gonna be a walk-in.
Aren't they already working on the like prototypes for the wall and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
you
see
testing them out.
Earlier in the year, Lauren Southern tweeted something out. She's like, if Trump ever screws up and has like a bad week or so as president, all he needs to do is build the wall, and everyone will be back on board the Trump train. That's all he needs to do. He just needs to build a wall, build it 10 feet higher. We're all gonna be happy. Actually, that reminds. Did you guys see the thing where the company that makes Cards Against Humanity bought a piece of the border?
Yeah, I saw that.
Is that real?
Yeah, but there's something called eminent domain, dude. If the government wants that piece of land, you can do nothing about it. They just pay you for pennies on the stock for that land.
Well, that's what I was thinking when I saw it. I was
I work in real estate, actually. It's my job.
Okay, so you know a lot about this.
Well, I was thinking.
Well, not a lot more, but it's.
Well, I was thinking when I saw it, I said, if this is true, I mean, they're already planning on spending like $15 billion or whatever on the wall. The government's just gonna pay out the ass to get the land back, anyways. So all that's really gonna happen is it's gonna be slightly more inconvenient. It's not gonna stop anything.
They're probably gonna pay them less than what they bought it for. Is the funny part. So, good job, Cards for Humanity. Good job. Maybe some more liberals will buy the games, but once you do that as a company, man, and you get into politics, you completely segregate
like that fucking
audience.
Ben and Jerry's thing. Did you see on their new ice cream or whatever? They have a little like a cow that says "Refugees Welcome." He's holding up a sign. I'm like, why? Why do you have to mix politics?
Yeah,
because it's dairy. Well, why do you have to mix politics and ice cream? I don't understand.
No kidding, like just Keurig did it.
Where they pulled their ads from Hannity. People are like shooting their fucking Keurig machines.
They're like begging to lose business. I don't get it. I thought some of the people on the right went a little
yeah.
overboard on that, like breaking the machines. Like you already bought the
Like
thing, dude.
just
Like,
use it.
use
It's
it.
like, you
Yeah.
know what they say,
The
even
thing is,
Hitler
like,
had a Jewish lawyer. I mean, if you have the thing, you might as well use it. Of course, you might disagree with it. Maybe you don't like the Jews, but if you have him, you could take him to court with you. He could be your attorney.
yeah, well, give it away to your liberal friend or something. Or and like the justification, I can see why they do it is because apparently you got to buy those little pods that make the coffees that you stick in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, and they make like they cost like 50 cents a pod or something. So Keurig makes a killing off selling those pods. So I guess I can see that's maybe one reason why they destroy them. Plus, it feels good probably, but
It's fun. It's fun to shoot
I don't
things.
have one.
One thing I despise the most is the
story.
coffee culture in this country. The fucking Starbucks
God,
shit.
don't get me
It's
started.
whenever I see someone tweet or write something about how much they love coffee, they're almost always liberal.
They're a basic.
Like, I don't know why. I don't know
Must be a
why
liberal
coffee
thing.
is a liberal thing now, unless it's black coffee. Black coffee is a very backwoods right wing thing.
Maybe liberals just made it trendy, and the conservatives, don't feel the need to Snapchat
Yeah,
it or tweet it or.
That's
social
definitely
media, like, we
true.
do this
Liberals
all the
are way
time.
more trendy than conservatives. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, they care a lot about their,
Their
social
image.
clout, whatever the kids are calling it these
Whatever.
days. Popularity.
Yeah, I saw some fucking YouTuber at Keemstar or some shit use the word clout. I'm like, what does that even mean?
My 12-year-old cousin uses it all the time. He's like, I need these glasses, man. I need the clout. I'm like, what is that? Like, I don't even know what that means. Like, it's a foreign word. He's like, well, it's like your credibility, like your popularity on social media. Like, okay, well,
I've heard.
I'm like, I'm trying to earn some clout on my social media right now.
Oh yeah, that's what a lot of think. I think a lot of kids, definitely me and Luke's age nowadays, are very concerned about their fucking like popular. Like they want. I think it's because everyone's on the internet and it's sort of like you have a connection but isn't there. You know what I mean? Like it's so different than talking to someone face to face that I think people are just more desperate than ever to want a human connection.
Yeah.
Like for instance, that's obviously we're not going to use her name, but a girl that me and Luke go to school with, she started making makeup tutorials, and I'm watching it, and she's like, "Hey guys, so I'm gonna make a makeup tutorial, and wanted to do this for a long time. I know this is gonna be very cringe." And it's just I told her I turned the video off, and I want her next video to be of her doing like a tiger face paint that you would find at like a carnival or something.
Yeah. Everyone, I mean, I feel like everyone competes for, that popularity on social media. And it means something to have more likes than somebody else and all that. But, what should matter is your friendships, man. Yeah, that doesn't matter at all. Like, with my Twitter account, none of my friends give a crap about that. They like me because, I'm cool when I'm not behind my Twitter account. You go do fun things. Like, on my Twitter account, these are just like, it's pretty superficial stuff. Yeah, I get some comments and whatnot, but I don't actually connect with people.
Exactly.
I'm throwing ideas out there, but I don't have the connections of like, hey, if I'm going to go watch a football game or watch, whatever, go to the bar or something. It's totally, totally different. And those are the connections that matter.
The connections that really matter, I think a lot of this is mostly liberals that will do this, but I think a lot of people are rejecting like family. You know what I mean?
You are.
That's one thing that I just don't get.
It's probably Logan. Back to an earlier question that you asked our good friend here about what made you conservative. For like okay, Logan, you know how I'm able to completely immerse myself into a belief until like I actually start believing it. That's why I have to be very careful. First 3 months that I was liberal, for 6 months, I wanted to shoot myself.
You were liberal for 3 months? What was that like? Like how far were you?
I don't know. That was such a freaking weird time, Logan.
Well, yeah,
it's all good, man. We've all been there. I've been in mental hospitals and stuff.
Is when as you get older, that's when you start moving more far right in your politics and shit.
Yeah, they say if you're not liberal in your 20s, you don't have a heart, and if you're not conservative, you don't learn anything. basically.
True.
All right, Luke.
Okay.
You said ask him your next question because I don't. You told me what they were, but I forget what they are, so I won't be able to do that.
Okay. I don't even know. I'm just gonna call you
You
Q.
can call me Dylan, man. My name's Dylan.
Dylan. All right. Interesting.
All right. Do you have any kind of religious beliefs or a lack thereof?
To be honest, if I had to lean towards any of them, it's Christianity. I've been an off and on Christian, but sometimes I stray towards being agnostic because I have my doubts. But yeah, if I had to pick one, it's Christianity, and that's the one
I
I'm
think
sticking
it's
to.
like very strange. Uh, most people on the right that are conservative, especially in America, a lot of people on a lot of conservatives are Christian. I think that's like because if you look at liberals, I think liberals are a lot more diverse in their religions. You have the fucking Buddhists and the Muslims and atheists, and then you'll have Christians too.
Well, Logan, the left is the only people who will tolerate the Islamic extremists until they aim a gun into their heads.
It's so stupid. I
Pretty
hate when you
much.
see something like you're statistically more likely to die because of your furniture than because of an Islamic terrorist. Yeah, but I'm still against Islamic terrorism. I'll take my
Right.
chances with sitting in a wobbly stool. You know what I mean? I see some dude with a pubic hair looking beard and a towel wrapped around his head and an AK-47 going, "Death to America!" La, la, la. I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
Oh man, I hear Allahu Akbar anywhere, I'm hitting the deck. Tell you what.
Well, you know, it's
I won't
people
even think
like
twice.
us that are gonna be targeted by those folks.
Of course,
Things that follow
exactly.
Allahu Akbar, either an attack or a very boring prayer.
Pretty much, but if I don't think they'll be screaming that prayer and anything of kindness in the middle of the street or anything. I hear that, man, I'm running or I'm ducking or probably running actually as far away from it as I can.
Oh man,
I'm trying to be the next
strange
victim.
times we live in.
Well, it's just asinine how these feminists and they'll go marching and be pro-Islam and they'll be like, Islam is the leader in women's rights. It's like,
Patriarchy, but we support Islam.
The dumbest
my
contradiction
goodness.
of the 21st century is feminists who talk about how America oppresses women, but then you'll go and look and they want fucking more refugees. They support Islam. I'm like, if you fucking read the Quran, you would be against it. You would be against it.
I'm 100% with
I
you, man.
plan to. I wanna know exactly what people mean when they say, "But the Quran says this." Like I want to know exactly what that thing says.
You don't even have to read the whole book. You can get the highlights from simple memes, man. There's over 113 different points where it says to kill non-believers.
Exactly.
And if you're not following the Quran like that, you're not being a true Muslim. Man.
And
Those are
it's
the
we
words
don't
of
even
Allah,
have
your
to
God.
look at the words that their ancient text says. We can just look at the actions of these people, the way they stone women, throw gays off buildings, make the women cover up, blow themselves up in a fucking convenience store.
They're barbaric. They're 1,400 years.
What I
behind
think
us,
it is, I
behind
think
Western
it's
civilization.
inbreeding.
Kind. That's being kind there, Dylan. Being 1,400 years.
Might
That's
be
being
I think it's
yeah.
if you look at a picture of Iran from the 1960 and you look at Iran today, they've gone backwards in time, and I think it's largely due to inbreeding. I don't have the exact statistic, but there is a fucking huge percentage of people in the Muslim community in the Middle East that are making kids with their first. Look, Muhammad said you could marry your first cousin. Do that once or twice, it's bad. Do that for 40.
Yeah, Muhammad married a 9-year-old.
He married a 6. He married a 6-year-old, but to be fair, they
Was
did
it
not
6?
consummate till
Yeah.
she was 9. So you have to credit where credit's due.
I don't. Yeah, that's when he did it. But she was doing some other weird shit.
But if you look at like
I wouldn't
the
put it past
behaviors of children that are a result of generations of isbreeding, it mirrors a lot of behavior that you'll see from these Islamic extremists. Irrational behavior, anger, violence, all that shit that you see from them.
Yeah, a lot of anger, man. It's grounded in anger, actually. And like, I don't know if I want to get into this now, but you look what's happening to Europe, dude.
Oh,
like,
my
they're
God.
actually doing a pretty good job with their civilized jihad. And like right now in Europe, like London and all that,
Mhm.
London, I think it's London. They're like their birth rate percentage, or it's like, or the birth rate is at like 1.2 or something. And if you look over history, anytime a country's been under like 2.0 per family, that population dies out quick. And they're at like 1.2. And then you look at the Muslims that they're letting in by the millions right now, and their birth rate is 8.1. 8.1. Europe's going to be gone in like 20 years. They don't
apparently in the UK, the most common name for a newborn child is Muhammad. I'm sorry, but if Muhammad was alive today, he would want me, he'd want you, he'd want Luke, he'd want the three of us on this podcast dead. It's because we don't follow his commands or fucking whatever.
I mean, white Brits are the minority now in London.
Apparently, I heard this. This is somewhere in the UK. It was probably London. The police, they found evidence of like a pedophile ring or a bunch of rape or something, but they wouldn't investigate it because for fear they would look racist.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
That's what I found out.
What's that, Luke?
And
for a $20 million bulletproof glass wall around the Eiffel Tower to protect it from terrorism.
A glass wall?
Yeah, we thought I heard about that. That's ridiculous because, wait, what's the reason behind it again?
Terrorism.
What you need to do about terrorism is first of all, when you see one of those refugee rafts coming, you don't stop to pick them up. Okay, you don't help these people out. They don't have good intentions. It would be another thing if they wanted to, let's say the United States, if they wanted to immigrate to the United States the right way, following the law, and they wanted to learn English, they wanted to assimilate to the culture. If that's one thing, that's perfectly fine. That's what we want immigrants to do. We don't want immigrants coming over, bringing their culture, which is much shittier and sucks a lot more than ours, and fucking advocate for Sharia law and shit in America.
Dude, even Putin understands that. Putin understands that completely.
Sharia, whatever you pronounce it, that's literally. Oh, did any of you watch Steven Crowder's bit where they discussed how CARE, the Islamic organization, was found? Oh, there was never any trial because Obama became president and swept it all under the rug. But apparently there was evidence that CARE was funneling money over to the Middle East to support terrorist groups.
Yeah, they were supporting Al-Qaeda. They were supporting neutral terrorist groups that they thought they could fight ISIS with, but it was actually doing nothing but spreading the fire and arming them. It made it 100% worse.
Yeah, I don't fucking understand like the type of shit where you arm your enemy. Like the whole reason North Korea is such a big nuclear threat is because fucking Bill Clinton's the guy that got their nuclear reactors and their nuclear program started. If you guys just look at history, you know what happened when they tried to appease Hitler? He got greedier and greedier, and eventually he started invading some fucking countries. Why do you guys not think that the same thing could happen to North Korea? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I just watched a documentary. I just began it last night. It's called The Greatest Story Never Told. It's a 5-hour documentary on basically what happened. I only got through like the first 15 minutes before I fell asleep. But basically, Hitler was a nationalist, and he was trying to stop the Jews from taking over the world. Like, I know that's a different viewpoint than most people have on Hitler and the Holocaust because it's not what they were taught in history books. But before I talk about it more, I'd have to watch and educate myself. So I won't talk too much more about it, but he was a nationalist.
Yeah, it's funny. It's nice you bring that up about it's not what you're taught in history books. What did you apparently the reason that nowadays people like under the age of 18 are 30% conservative when 20 years ago it was 15%. I think the reason so many people our age, when I say our age I mean like me and Luke's age, are leaning conservative is because we have the internet now. Like when our teacher says something, we just go, oh my God, white people are the reason black people are fucking all in jail and make no money. Let's look that up. Oh wait, it's not true. Everything my teacher's telling me is a lie.
Dude, you're 100% correct on that. Like I said, I have a 12-year-old cousin, and he's super conservative. He looks up to my Twitter account and all that stuff, and he's educating his friends, and
that's nice.
like that's the thing. They have something called Google where it takes 10 seconds to fact check something, and they're not going to all be brainwashed as easily as they were in the 90s and early 2000s.
Like
it's a different
my one
time
history
period.
teacher that I had like 2 years ago, and he's a great guy. I thought he was an excellent teacher. But one time he repeated the wage gap myth in class. Said women make 77 cents on a dollar. I raised my hand. I'm like, that's like it's so like it made me laugh because whenever I heard that argument, it had always been someone criticizing that argument and like debunking it. And now I'm hearing my teacher use the argument. I'm like, oh my god, it's so not true.
Right?
It literally takes you 15 seconds to debunk that argument.
Didn't our last year teacher repeat that as well?
Oh my god, me and her, we had several disagreements over the course of me being her pupil.
I really wish I was in the dumb class.
Oh my god, it was fantastic. Literally, people would come up to me after class, be like, "Dude, all I hear in history is just you arguing with the teacher." Like I can't keep my mouth shut. I really can't. That's my biggest problem. I have no filter.
See, I didn't know enough back in the day when I was in high school or college to even try to refute what they were talking about. But nowadays, you see like those videos all over YouTube where it's like, student owns teacher and hands it to him, and those are so fun to watch. It's like, dude, this teacher's like 30 or 35 getting owned by a 15-year-old.
Like 20 years younger than them.
Yeah, and he's like pulling up facts as they're arguing. He's like, it says right here in Webster's dictionary that you're wrong. She's like, no, I'm smarter.
There's this one history teacher that teaches at our school. I never had him, but he's also like the city council for the city of Amherst, Ohio, and he's friends with two of my uncles on Facebook. My one uncle Rich, he's an attorney in the city of Amherst, and my other uncle, he posted something about like Obamacare or whatever, and so this guy, he like they have their argument, and then my uncle Bill makes his point, and this teacher goes, "Well, I'm sorry you feel that way," like totally just fucking not responding, just ignoring what he said. It's hilarious. It was just so petty that like that's something my little sister would say, and my little sister's 6 years old. She would say that.
I heard it.
Just totally not acknowledge anything you said before.
That teacher, Logan, compared Trump to Mao,
did he?
Hitler, Stalin.
Oh my god, what I walked by his room and there was a bunch of things like this. You could tell like he made the students write arguments for gun control, and he put them all over the wall. I'm like, oh my god, I want that. I want to have that guy as my teacher just because I can be fucking what's an expression I can use? Like a thorn in his side or something. Well, what's like like a chink in his armor or something? I think that's the expression I'm looking for.
I was watching this comedian the other day, and he was talking about Trump and how they compare him to Hitler. He's like, if Trump is literally Hitler, like they claim, and throughout his presidency, he only gasses like 400,000 Jews, he's not living up to it very well. Even if he were to do that.
Did you see that? Did you see that Jim Jeffries thing where he's like talking about how Trump's Hitler, and he goes, "Oh my God, Hitler didn't kill the Jews on the first day." It's like, oh my God, like this guy's serious. This guy's serious. He actually thinks that Trump is the next Hitler. But if you look at the actual like shit that Hitler did in his policies, you would go, wait a minute. He advocated for gun control. He was all about a central banking system, and oh yeah, this guy, he seems pretty liberal.
You guys remember after the election when people were putting the safety pins all over their clothes to mark that you're safe with me for all the gay people and minorities, because lots of them thought they were going to be rounded up and exterminated. That was one of the funniest
You'll
things.
see teachers all the time go, "I stand with my illegal immigrant students." You know what, like, the proper course of action would be if one of your students was an illegal immigrant? Is you
report
quietly, quietly, discreetly, anonymously, make a phone call, send an email, let someone know that's going on.
I would have been that asshole that
yeah.
called ICE. That would have been.
Called the ICE right
I
away.
saw this fucking retarded thing on CNN. It was this Mexican dude who he was an illegal immigrant who they found out he was illegal because he got stopped for a DUI, driving drunk, and he's crying about, oh my gosh, if Obama was president, this wouldn't have happened. You're just like, yeah, you're right. That's an art. You're right. You're confirming what I believe. And he goes, all it was a DUI. Yeah, all it was driving a car drunk. Never mind all those, fucking people who have lost their lives due to shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's talking.
The liberals feel sorry. He probably wasn't that drunk.
He was talking to the CNN lady, and he's like showing pictures of his family on his iPhone. Like this guy has a smartphone, and you're like, oh my god, like you have it so well. You know what happens? The thing is, Mexico has stricter immigration policies than the United States. You know what happens in the United States if you're illegal? They put you in an air-conditioned plane and fly you home. Mexico's probably not going to do anything about it. You're probably going to try and run again, but God,
better do it before that wall goes up.
My mom's grandmother, she was an illegal immigrant, and I remember everyone in my mom's side of the family. It's like from Mexico, obviously. What other country would it be? Korea. I think Korea and Mexico are the two #1 illegal immigrant countries. But they're talking about how, her life must have been so hard because she crossed the border. You know who has it really tough? You know who has to do some stuff that's actually challenging and hard? Is the people that do what they're supposed to do, pay all the money, fill out all the paperwork, prove they're a good person, and do it the right way to get over to this country legally. Those are the people that we should be celebrating, not someone, hey, Jose, you want to hop over to the fence tomorrow? Yeah, okay.
I agree, man. It's a slap in the face to everyone that's sitting in line for 10 years trying to get here. It's not right.
Oh, we're special. We had it a lot more rougher than they
Yeah,
did.
we're special because we're brown.
In this country,
honestly,
yeah.
I will say, in my lifetime, I've seen way more racism against whites, way more sexism against men, way more fucking discrimination against Christians than any other race, religion or sex. I've seen way more way more of that stuff against straight white male Christians than anyone else. But the liberals will always act like those guys are the oppressed class.
Yeah, I mean, white people ages 18 to 40 are the only ones that are not protected against just discrimination laws. We're the only ones.
My older brother.
It's ridiculous.
My older half brother. He goes to college. He got a scholarship because he's a minority. They gave him money just because of who his fucking parents were, because the amount of melanin in their skin. He gets.
Right, it's not based off qualifications anymore.
America is a meritocracy. I don't understand why. I don't understand why anyone wants to treat people differently based on their race. You know what I mean? Like, that's the shit MLK was against.
Superiority complex.
It's like that fucking Sean White or Sean King guy, whoever it is that claims he's black.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my god, you're
He's like 85% white.
He got arrested, and they showed his police report, and under race, he checked off white.
He's using both sides of things. He's playing the white privilege card, if that's the thing, and then he's playing the black oppressed card at the same time. I see what he's doing. Funny. The other day, I'm just finishing up my college, my 4-year degree in organizational behavior online. I have 4 credits left. I'm finishing in spring.
Okay.
But one of my classes asked, they're like, so do you think, it was a discussion thread, and they're like, do you think affirmative action is racist? Why or why not? Explain. And out of maybe 20 people, I was the only one besides this one other kid that said it was racist. Everyone else was like, no, it's not. Like, we should welcome everybody, no matter, like, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? I'm like, I think it is racist. Like, we're letting people in based on their skin color rather than their quality, their merit-based award system. And I had at least 10, 11, 12 other classmates refute me, including the teacher. And after that point, I'm not gonna lie, I went liberal for the rest of the class and went on the real talking points, like with the unions. Every time I just went liberal. I wanted to pass because I needed to. I needed to get my
You see,
degree,
that's
man.
where I think someone like me or you differ. Is I don't care. I could answer the same question a million times. I'm never going to lie about. I'd sooner fail a class than lie about what I actually believe.
Well, for me, like I've been a real estate appraiser the last 6 years, and I'm trying to get my certification, but I need a 4-year degree to do that. And from being a trainee, which I am now, to going to certified, that's like over 100% just my salary. So I kind of have my hands tied here.
Well, you see, what you are doing is you're swallowing your pride and you're being smart. That's not what I would ever do.
Yeah, exactly. It hurts. It does. It hurts a little bit. I'm just like, wow, like these people are blah blah blah, like going against my pride, but whatever. I'm swallowing it and doing what I have to do, and you know what? I got
good for you.
Congratulations.
You know, my mom got so mad at me because she perplexes me because she voted for Trump, but all of her politics, all her beliefs are so liberal. Like, she got mad at me one time, like yelling at me because I didn't support affirmative action and minority scholarships. And she goes, "You don't understand about how minorities used to be oppressed." I said, "Look at the verbiage you're using. Used to be. It's 2007. It's, as Justin Trudeau often points out, it's 2017. It's current year. Why can't we just get over that shit and start treating people based on the content of their character rather than the amount of melanin in their skin?" I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's divisive. It's not the way I was raised. No. That's for sure.
So, did you hear about this? This is what a lot of people were upset about recently. Apparently, like 200,000 gallons of fucking oil leaking from one of the Dakota pipelines.
Yeah, I read about that. Well, I saw some.
Yeah, I saw people using that as an argument against like Trump's proposed plan to build another pipeline. I'm like, are you fucking retarded? That is an argument for why we should build a new one. I don't like. Are you not thinking about what you're saying?
And I heard it wasn't the Keystone Pipeline that they were all protesting against. It was an older one that was authorized by Obama.
It was an older one.
Yeah.
The new administration wants to build a new one that isn't gonna leak 200,000 gallons of oil on fucking Indian reservations or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and I saw this one. Someone said that they were a gas oil engineer expert or something like that, and they're like, how many gallons leaked? First of all, they say gallons in the news because it makes it sound worse. When really oil is measured by barrels, they say gallons, so it sounds worse. Like 5,000 gallons compared to hundreds of barrels.
It's like when a little kid goes, "I have 200 cents." You have $2.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a numbers game theory. And basically, he said that it was like 5,000th or 1/10,000th of what happened with the BP oil spill under Obama. So it was literally just a splash in the bucket. Not even really a big deal. So, but it's a big headline for them. They're looking for anything they can. They grasp at straws.
Exactly. Like when Trump tweeted out, I actually have it right here. It's my desktop wallpaper. "Why would Kim Jong-un insult me by calling me old when I would never call him short and fat? Oh well, I try so hard to be his friend. Maybe someday that will happen." That is hilarious. That is fucking funny.
That's one of the best.
That is the greatest thing I've ever read. And they're going, "Oh, look how childish Trump is. Trump's gonna get us a nuclear war." Yeah, because North Korea, that's gonna be what sends him over the edge.
I'm gonna bomb the crap out of you.
That's what's gonna send him over the edge. And it just goes to show that liberals can't take a joke. That's why when you see a comedian will have like an iPhone clip taken from their show last night, and it'll be on the fucking morning news. "Look how offensive, he made a joke about rape." Why can't you guys just have fun? Why does everything have to be, "Oh, that's offensive"? You're basically old church ladies.
A lot of people say conservatives can't laugh at anything either, but no, I've seen people post up like anti-Trump memes, or even conservatives post up Trump memes just because they're hilarious, even though it's kind of dogging at them a little bit. It's like, okay,
If
that's good.
when I'm looking at comedy, I'm not looking to get into an argument.
Correct.
The thing, okay, I'll give you a good example. I'm gonna compare two comedians. One is Mark Maron, who he's okay. Another is Bill Burr, who's fucking hilarious. If you watch their two most recent specials that came out this year, in Mark Maron's special, he fucking gets on this high horse. He goes, "Folks, I mean, we're in such a bad place. Donald Trump's president." And he goes on this 15-minute long, like, no jokes at all, just complaining about how we're all screwed because Trump's president. You compare that to Bill Burr's special. He's making jokes about Hillary and Trump. And yeah, I'm obviously pro-Trump, but if he's making jokes about Trump that are making me laugh, if I see something that's funny, I laugh at it. I don't constantly have to hide. Constantly,
get offended.
My pride is not held up by my beliefs. Okay, I'm able to separate that all. I'm able to put religion, politics, race, gender. I'm able to put all that shit aside and enjoy myself and have a laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's healthy, man. It really is.
One of the that goes back to me what I was saying earlier about being liberal for like 3 months.
Yeah, how was that, man? Like, I feel like being a liberal would be miserable. To be honest.
There was
a hardcore leftist liberal. Like, I'm starting to term them as miserable liberals.
There was this study, I think it was a couple of years ago. This might have been early 2000s era, actually. They polled Democrats and Republicans on how happy they were. 40% of Republicans said they were very happy, and only 20% of Democrats said they were very happy. I honestly think conservatives are just generally happy people. Like, they're able to enjoy themselves when, liberals are constantly fucking shouting their beliefs.
Well, I think liberals are so confused by their own convictions that don't make sense.
Oh, they contradict themselves all the time.
Yeah, conservatives get the bigger picture, and it's like, okay, I understand it. Okay, this guy's not going to get it. You know what? That doesn't bother me because I'm just going to live my life carefree and go on with it.
You'll see the same guys, like a lot of, particularly people from Hollywood. You'll see these same guys that spent the last year, fuck sexual assault. Trump's a sexual predator, like saying all this shit, and then you read the headline. So and so was just accused of allegations, and then he comes out and he admits that he did it all along. It's like is that not hypocrisy?
It's the definition of hypocrisy. It really is.
The bad thing is, I don't even think they know it. I will give Kevin Spacey props though for coming up with that "I'm gay" response. I don't think anybody else.
George Takei had the most hilarious response. He blamed it on the Russians.
Oh yeah.
It was like, oh my god, you're really gonna do this?
I've always called him Taki. Is that Takei?
I don't know. I've never been a Star Trek fan. I've never been a fan of him.
Me neither.
I've only all I've ever seen from him is just the retarded political shit that he writes.
Like the Russians did this.
Oh my god,
that was the most far-fetched. He deleted it though.
Of course he did, because
I had something to say to him. And the tweet was gone when I went to say it. Pissed.
Of course he did. It makes him look fucking retarded.
No, that's one of my favorite things to do.
That's the most hilarious thing is when someone tweets something and then people don't like it, so they get okay, like they delete it. Like their shoulders automatically get smaller. Like, okay, I'm sorry, they delete the tweet. Whereas if I tweeted something and people were getting pissed out about it, I would make a Twitter video reading their responses, laughing at them, just totally mocking them. I don't give a fuck.
I only delete tweets when I'll put it out and I'll be like, wait, oh crap, Twitter's gonna get me for this. When I get a little too savage sometimes, I'm like, this is kind of borderline, and I don't really want to talk again. So I've been kind of changing it down.
I take a lot of satisfaction whenever someone says that I'm offensive or whatever. When I say words that make people mad, that makes me happy.
Boo freaking who? Who gives a shit?
Damn, Luke.
Yeah, I get people in my DMs. I open my DMs on purpose because I get people that just tell me to F off and go hang myself, and I'm a Russian bot. That's the most popular. You're a Russian bot. Like, not
People
really.
say you're a Russian
Yep,
bot.
all the time. Oh, wait, I have one in my inbox right now. U.R.shameless. And then, nope, they blocked me after that. I can't even reply. Okay.
Wow, talk about backbone.
If
there.
you're-
Really
if-
sticking it.
Thanks, Marine. At Psycho Mo.
If you're a Russian bot, you're doing a really good American impression. You're very committed by coming on a podcast.
Right, no kidding. I'm not even getting paid for
No.
it, man.
Because you know how much money we make? I know you're not supposed to disclose your finances, but I'm gonna give you a dollar amount of our annual earnings. 0.
0. Yeah, that would have been... If I ever blow up and get, 2 days ago, for the first time, I was checking my Twitter analytics. In one day on my tweets.
I don't understand.
awesome.
Okay, let's look at your Twitter right now. You have over 120,000. Holy shit! Over 140,000 followers.
Yeah,
you can capitalize on that shit so well. Why don't you take the opportunity?
I'm gonna wait. If it starts hitting like 20 million views a day, I was thinking maybe create some T-shirts or something. I probably wouldn't put my name on it, Education Liberals, because I feel like most people probably wouldn't buy that because it is so polarizing. Yeah. Someone sees you in public and says educating liberals on it, you're gonna turn off a lot of people.
I'd buy your shit. I support you.
Well, then there is a select crowd. Yeah, there is a select crowd like you guys, myself, wouldn't mind. They'd rep that proudly, and I probably would have T-shirts that have the educating liberals. But I'd probably just make T-shirts that are like just pro-America and pro-Trump.
What I've always wanted to do,
they'd be easier to sell.
This is the Free Speech or Bust podcast. If it ever got to like a point where it had a platform, I want to make a shirt where it's like the Jim Beam fucking branding, but instead of Jim Beam, it says Free Speech, and like finish the rest of it. I think that'd be pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about like the ideas of designing the T-shirts.
I also want to do a T-shirt where it's me and Luke dressed up in insane clown posse face paint. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be really stupid looking, but I would do it.
Yeah, we asked another guy, a guy who we've had on the podcast before. He's a buddy of ours. I told him about this. He goes, "Sorry, I'm allergic to makeup. My face would break out." Like, Jesus Christ. I don't think he's allergic to makeup. I think there's some chemical that he can't tolerate. So we just need to find something without that. And then he could.
You just get a filter on Snapchat.
Oh, have you seen that app where it it'll take a picture of some woman with makeup and it'll give you like what it looks like without them? People getting so mad about it. Oh, it's hilarious.
People are making like without on and she looks like a soulless demon when it's done. It's so funny. I was looking at some of those.
All right, Luke, what are some of those other questions you had for him?
Okay, the fourth question out of 7. Oh, we went on a rant for
it's good. That's what it's way easier for us to do podcasts with guests because if it's just me and him, like we talk all the time, we're gonna run out of content pretty quickly.
You guys probably know most of you guys' ideas and stances. Yeah, you can bounce more ideas off guests.
What's the funniest story you can think of?
Funniest movie?
No, like out of real life, like something that happened to you or somebody you know.
That's like some shit a girl would say at a sleepover, Luke.
Well, Luke, I'm sorry.
I'll try to answer that.
7 questions are done, and you said, "Yeah, this one's good. This one's good. This one's good. Change this one. I already have that one. Okay, I did that.
I know, but here's the thing. I wanted you to leave that in, so when you asked it, I could make that joke."
That's a good question, though. Lots of funny shit has happened to me. But right away off the top of my mind comes up, in college, I used to be a super big pop. Don't really smoke anymore, but used to chief all day long in college. And I had this one really good friend, and he was anti-weed 100%, would never try it for anything because it was illegal, and his dad taught him it was bad, and blah, 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 that kind of story. And one day, I even asked him, like, so dude, if you were on your deathbed having cancer, and the only way for you to eat is by like smoking pot, would you do it? He's
Oh
like,
my
not
gosh.
a chance. So that's the setup
For
here,
some reason, I doubt that.
right?
Yeah, if you're on your
But that was
deathbed
his
and I
thing.
say, do this, you'll live, like, you're gonna do it.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. Anyways, fast forward a few months. One of my good friends gets me a weed brownie, and super, super potent, like the most potent ones he's ever made. Like, okay, I'll take it. It's in my car, and I'm going to this guy's house, my friend, and I'm with a couple other friends who like to smoke pot, and I have just try to give this to my friend, guys. And they're like, okay, sure. Like, all right, I'm gonna try this. I go inside, my friend's sitting on the couch, and we get to talking, blah blah blah. I'm like, hey, Tony, Tom made them. They're super good. And I'm like, I almost said his name. I'm like, hey, do you want this? And he's like, maybe. He said it in front of him. I go to the bathroom. I come back, and he's licking the wrapper. He's licking the wrapper of this weed brownie. I was shell shocked. I'm like, oh my god, no way. I look at my other friends, and they're like looking at me like, we're trying to play it cool the whole time. And like half an hour passes by, 45 minutes, starting to get a little weird, and like his eyes are getting super red, and he's like slurring his words, and he's like, well, I feel really tired, and like, guys, I need to take my contacts out, and all of a sudden he just started rambling about things and started laughing at himself, and ended up having a really great time because we were all laughing at him because he did it, but he thought we were laughing with him. It was one of those deals where we were just laughing. And like his dad came down, I'm like,
Oh man.
crap. Like, I'm only like 18, 19 at this point. I'm like, I'm getting so much trouble. Like, his dad's gonna know. His dad's a doctor.
Oh, okay.
And he's ball guns, and he's like, Dad, you grab the gun, CO2, and you shoot. I'm like, oh my god, this doesn't even sound normal right now. His dad's like, okay, walks back upstairs. I'm like, nice, you missed that one. And then me and my other buddies were like, all right, I think it's time we leave. We left, and like an hour later, he texted me. He's like, "What the hell is he like, he's like, there was pot in there, wasn't it?" Like, yeah, yep, you got me. And like, he sent me a text. It was a novel, and
Oh my god.
I'm like, I'm like, so you really mad at me? He's like, not really. So that's
my older
story,
stepbrother is a
I
big
guess.
pothead, and one time, whenever he's high, he just does retarded shit. One time,
I think that's what you do when you're
well,
high. Logan.
listen, he was talking to me. He's like, Logan, I'm thinking I need to like drop a rap album. So I have this video somewhere. It's probably on like my Google Drive or something, but it's on like our deck, and his hair is all like made up, like really curly and like retarded. He has the most ridiculous looking sunglasses ever, and his shirt's off, and he has a tattoo of like a astronaut on Mars or whatever on his chest, and he's playing like a beat off of his like phone, and he's like rapping. He's like, "You'll never crack the Forbes list, even if you're gorgeous, even if your part is to be an artist." And then he's like, Logan, what you need to do is you need to make me some beats so that I can drop an album. And recently I brought this up to him again, and he's like, I've actually been thinking about getting back into the rap game. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, dude, a lot of people don't realize that they're not quite as good as they think they are.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
seems a little self-inflated. I can't lie. I've been on the track a few times, and I don't look at myself as being good or anything. I keep those to myself.
I made a diss track of my older brother. It is Luke. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. It is a fucking amazing. It's amazing. It's the greatest rap song of the 21st century, easily.
Of your imagination, Logan. That's as good as it's gonna get.
Oh my god. I literally made it in like a day. It's so bad. The microphone I'm using right now is a Rock Band microphone. It's the same one from the fucking PS3 that I used to make the Brandon Ramsey rant. So this mic does have some history to it.
Okay, hold on. Logan, I'm gonna find that video.
The Brandon
again.
Ramsey rant.
Yeah,
It's
the
on
Brandon
Figures
Ramsey.
Pictures. It should be easy to find. What was some of your other questions for Dylan?
I'm just gonna combine the other three
Whatever, go away.
because. Okay. What's your plans on any family size? Like, do you want a family? Are you building one right now? Or like, nah, that's not for me.
Currently I'm single, but I am searching a little bit. But I think I'm a little bit picky because politics are kind of a big factor in my life. And I live in Minnesota, which is a blue state. Liberals run rampant around here. Yeah, dude. I mean, I guess I'm not really like trying to force anything to happen, but the right girl comes by, then heck yeah, dude.
Well,
I'll
that's
wife
that's
her up.
that's good for you because being a conservative is a niche market. There it should be pretty easy to get your hands on a lady, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm pretty sure conservative chicks have a bigger tits than liberals.
Dude,
I
so much
think
higher
that's
in
true.
general. I swear. I don't know why it is because maybe. Oh God, I might offend a lot of people.
No, who
by going
cares?
into this.
Free speech.
But, I mean, lots of feminists, dude, are just fat and ugly and
They have
disgusting, and
pink
most
hair?
of them are just. I think they hate themselves. Man.
Has
Yeah.
anybody ever seen a hot feminist? Let's just be real here. Has
Lacey
anybody-
Yeah, or
Green.
a happy feminist? No. Oh God, no.
You don't think she is
No.
mildly attractive?
Oh, compared to the rest of them, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you. Yeah, only when you compare the rest of them, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not saying she needs
But-
to be on a fucking runway or something. I'm just saying she's attractive compared to the rest of the litter. I think that's a fair statement.
Yes. I would agree with that. But I mean, you get
Let's also be honest here. It's not like that's something to be honest necessarily proud of.
No, it's not. It's like I'm the
Yeah,
funniest prop comic ever. Yeah, but you're still a prop comic.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely plan. I hope to have kids someday. It'd be awesome. I love kids.
Yeah, and
We'll
when
see
you
what
pass
happens,
away,
though. I don't know.
you
I'm
can
happy, though. I'm
you
just
can
a
put
man.
your Twitter account in their
That's probably
inheritance.
the most important thing.
Yeah,
Happy alone. Let's be honest here. That's probably
yeah,
the most,
dude.
whether it's
You're not
because
happy alone,
or you're
man.
actually alone in the desert. That's probably the most important.
What are you talking about? Fucking deserts? I have no idea what you're saying.
I mean, as long as I got my Wi-Fi out there, I can still connect a little bit. Otherwise, I might get a little lonely. But for the most part, in general, I'm pretty happy with just being single.
All right, that's
But if someone comes along to enhance that, sure, let's do it. Literally.
What about you, Logan? I know we're young, but
Are you
I
asking
actually
me
wanna
if
hear
I want to have?
it.
Well, yeah, eventually I'd
Yeah.
like to have a family. Because I think my kids are gonna be the coolest motherfuckers ever. I want
Oh, yeah. Alpha males.
Oh,
I have a plan. My son David is going to wear overalls and a baseball cap.
Like the early
Yeah.
1900s. Yeah.
that kid's gonna get.
Well, when he's
That kid's
3
gonna
years
get
old, okay, not when he goes to junior high. I'm not gonna have him wear fucking
okay.
overalls.
Okay, I was picturing like an older. Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah, I think me and Dylan were in the same boat. What he's doing this.
Oh man. All right, wasn't there some other topic you had, Luke? Because I wanted to know if it's time to wrap this shit up.
Oh yeah, well well, we already asked you what your plans are for the future.
That's such a random.
I do have
question.
3.
Dude,
Well,
I was thinking about
go
doing
from
a Q&A on my Twitter account
awesome.
someday. You know what?
That'd be
I think
great.
covering
That'd be
that
great.
here. We're mostly covering a lot of it here. But yeah, I mean, I will. But I'm just going to
Yeah, you should do that and start selling T-shirts.
Dude, yeah,
Like, we can
t-shirts.
wrap it
I'm going
up
to wait
now.
till I hit 20 million a day, and I'll start that.
That's very. That's not because. Yeah,
'Cause
that's
I'm-
what you need to do.
I was doing the math.
You have this
Like,
huge.
I'm 20
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but you
Base
you have a
already.
large following on social media. You got to capitalize on it, bro. You got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I didn't start this with dollar signs in my eyes, but I mean now with the trending, and I can see the analytics.
Podcast, I sure did see one day. I sure did see dollar signs.
That'd be nice if I could just sit here and tweet, and that would pay for my Wi-Fi.
Oh my god, it's like
rent,
those.
you know,
It's like those
all I
guys
have to
that
do.
run like the Twitter accounts of like fucking Wendy's. They make like retard. Any amount of money they're paid for that is way too much. Even if they make $30,000 a year, that is a retarded amount of money for fucking tweeting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you can do it, I don't
No,
see why not.
if McDonald's came to me, he's like, Logan, all right, you're good with social media. You're a funny guy. We want you to run our Twitter. We'll pay you some retarded low amount. We'll give you $40,000 a year. Fuck yeah, because you could just do that and have another job also. Because it's not like that's hard.
Yeah, exactly. No, not at all. And I was looking at it like,
you think sitting on their asses and tweeting all day is a hard job? When you use a
right. I would feel like a bum even if I was getting paid. I'd be like, I need to get up and do something.
Yeah, I feel the same way when I'm
Then
like
again-
sitting down at the computer trying. I'm like, I gotta go walk.
I'm gonna walk and tweet now. That's what I'm gonna do. I was looking at it though, like I was crunching numbers. I already get like 10 million, and say 5 people were to buy T-shirts. That would be like 0.001% or even less than that of all the views, like actually making a purchase, which isn't that much to ask for. And maybe that I can make a few $100 a week. Turn that into thousands of dollars.
What you gotta do if Twitter is your job, you gotta be like, all right, when I tweet about this topic, that makes more money. So you focus all your tweet on that. Eventually,
exactly. I would have to cut out a lot of the good stuff I talked about today about Christian and Democrat is impossible. Like I wouldn't be able to do that when because lots of people it's controversial. Like I do some tweets that are controversial like that. Like I would have to strictly make it more conservative and be 100% sure that at least 90% of my fan base would agree on it.
Yeah.
When I do something.
That's the big problem with people being employed based on your political opinions. Well, no matter what controversial, crazy things you say, you are always welcome on the Free Speech Your Best podcast. That basically, I said that because that's basically my segue to end this. We did good. We're
awesome.
Hour 17. We usually go for an hour, so that's good. We're doing great time-wise. Tweet out whatever you want to plug. What's your Twitter at? I don't know. What's your website?
Twitter is Education4, the number, and then Libs, Libs.
Okay, and then Luke, what's your Twitter? Because I'm still not aware.
Luke O9898.
Why?
I still don't know why I chose that.
Hey, you can change it at any time.
You have to use the desktop version of Twitter. My Twitter is a lot simpler than 98989898. It's FPLurker64. The Free Speech or Bus Twitter is at Free Speech or Bus, ending with an S. Thank you guys for tuning in to this shit. I'm gonna